Live. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Freedom came my way that night, just like a jet plane, in and out of sight. I was hauling ass at 1,000,000 miles an hour, wondering how hard I'd hit when they came into the station. They said I was bad beyond repairs, but I got no qualms with my situation. Say, here I am. So, say, Cherie, won't you dare to? Say, Cherie, won't you dare to? Say, Cherie. Yeah. Leave a message and your number, please. Take your time to want to satisfy me. Take all these old fantasies and send them care of me. Oh, yes. What day is today? Tuesday. It's Tuesday, people. It's Tuesday. What do we do on Tuesdays? What do we do on Tuesday? Well, we often have AI salons. That's not tonight. What else do we do on Tuesdays? We reveal secrets. I'm going to reveal secrets tonight that no one else knows about Chat GPT. I'm going to be like a magician, like ring. In a westerly direction, this car is my train. I've been driving, I've been wondering what it is I'm running from again. Feel like an 80-year-old man holding on to 29. And up ahead on that horizon is California line. Yeah. Up ahead of trucks carrying a wide load, prefab house cut in half, cute little front door and 2 windows, my lord. Ain't sure whether to cry or should laugh. You see, I broke a home up myself once as I stumbled to that door. I read a note by the dawn's light, said, don't you come round here anymore. Well, I've had enough of this freedom of the rock. Never was good with decisions. At least that's what I've been told.
Hi, Kyle. I do hate to interrupt champ, but we do have an actual question on TikTok for you.
Yes.
Which I can kind of read through your shirt. So if you'd be so kind to switch your cams.
Flip my little cams. I can do that. Beautiful.
And
GPT-5. Huh?
I would say while we're at it, I just want to make sure you have Miro up.
Oh, I do have Miro up. I don't have the the Post-it notes in my view, but I now do. And I'm going to put the purple below the blue because I can see them both vertically off to the right here. Perfect. There you go. Champy sings the blues. He does. Okay. Hey, Pate Motter, what's happening? Side Hustle Mimi, Joy Purdy in the house. Got some good folks. Professor Oscar G. Is GPT-5 or is it misunderstood? We're going to talk about that tonight. That's the secret of Chat GPT-5, Professor Oscar. You're jumping the gun. Can't tell you the secret of Chat GPT-5 right off the gate, right off the gate, out of the gate, off the bat, out of the gate. Yeah, exactly. How dare you ask a question that I was going to give the answer to? But I think you hit it. Here's the secret of Chat GPT-5. I think everyone, including the people at OpenAI, don't have a clue. I think that's the secret of ChatGPT-5. We don't know yet. It's too early. We don't know how to use it. They don't know how to present it. An hour before we came on here, they changed the interface again. We are back to a model picker with 8 different models in it as of like an hour ago. So the secret to ChatGPT-5 is we don't know. Now, I think it's better. It's way better, but it's not a thing. Okay, let's see. What should we do tonight? Image benchmarking, video avatars, research tools, music night.
No. We've got an agenda for tonight. I was gonna. Somebody asked for a poll of whether GPT-5 was bad or just misunderstood, and it pulled a wrong poll.
Oh, it pulled an old poll. Okay, good.
Yeah, but there is a poll coming. So
okay, there's a poll
stay
coming.
tuned on TikTok.
On TikTok, there's a poll coming. So ignore that. If you're over there on YouTube, and what's that? What's that?
We're doing it on TikTok. We're doing the poll on TikTok.
Yeah, doing the poll on TikTok. If you're on YouTube, feel free to just comment if you have comments. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to pop them in either place, TikTok or YouTube. And we'll put a poll up in a second here. Better than a nose picker. You can pick your friends, you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose. Came on him like slow-moving cold fronts. Well, his beard was warmer than the look in her eye. Okay, up in the upper left-hand corner. Oh wait, yeah, up in the upper left-hand corner over there. There's a blue box on an angle. And pull that up. GPT-5 is bad, misunderstood. Math. Give me my 4.0 girlfriend back. So yeah, go do a poll over there. All right. Altman once said, we will see a solopreneur hit $1 billion valuation with AI soon. He just said that on a podcast the other day. He talked about that like a year and a half ago. That's a standing bet amongst founders in Silicon Valley. It has been for a while. That's funny, Vicky. Thank you, Sad Hustle Mimi. Standing between you and a hard place is insane. Standing too near you and a fire makes it clear. Your trouble to me, real trouble, can't you say? Leaning in close, smell of your perfume scares me most. Leaning away, hey, hey, feel stronger every day. Your trouble to me, real trouble, can't you see? All right, let's get this show started. Let's get this show on the road, people. That last song was actually a song I wrote. Most songs I sing, I did not write. That last one I did. The poll, 5 people took it. Chat GPT is misunderstood. Was 100% of the answer. That's the big secret to GPT-5 right now. We just don't know. We just don't know. We don't know how to prompt it. We don't know how to use a model that's going to route our prompts to different models. And now, let me show you something they did here, which I find astounding. Okay. There we go. All right, you can all see that, right? You can see that there. Fantastic. TikTok pin. 2-block Tom. I actually got some good historical fiction writing with thinking mode. I was impressed. Yeah, so a couple of things you should notice with 5. One, it shouldn't hallucinate as much. They've got a, what do they call it? I don't know. It looks at the answer before it gives it to you. Should hallucinate less. Look what they did. I can't believe they fucking did this. We are now back to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different model choices. 9 of them. The whole point of Chat GPT-5 was, we're going to hide all these models from you so you don't have to think about it. Then they launched Chat GPT-5, and everyone who liked Chat GPT-4 because they were using it as their girlfriend freaked out on Reddit. And so they added back in GPT-4. And they're like, we don't know what it's doing. How are we supposed to know what it's doing? So now all this crap is back. It's unbelievable to me. You don't have all those legacy models, really. I don't want to revert to 4 because it will go away. And then the whiny babies came out and Sama caved. I agree. Like I feel like what I'm facing right here is, so Vicky, did you, so in order to see the legacy models, you have to go into your settings. You might not have been here because I think you were traveling or working on work stuff. if you go into settings and scroll down to the bottom of the general page, you have to say, oh, and show additional models now. They even changed that. That said show legacy models as of yesterday. Now it says show additional models. So you have to turn that on. You have auto fast thinking and legacy 4 model. Yeah, I've got 4, 4.1, 03, and 04 mini. But what's interesting here is, okay, you've got auto mode. So most people are just going to leave it in auto mode, right? I have mine set to robot. No fluff, no BS, just direct straight to the point. Yeah, that's, I mean, if you're not going to be in voice mode ever, I think that's a fine way to go. And if that's, listen, if that's the way your brain works, then yeah, do your custom instructions to do that. So let's walk through these. Now we kind of know what's in here, right? So they've got fast, which this is probably GPT-5 mini. This is probably, or no, this is probably GPT-5.0. if we're going to follow their old conventions. Fast is probably their like 4.0, but it's version 5. And it's fast. And it is. It's really fast. I was just using it. It's super quick. Then they've got Thinking Mini, which is GPT-05 Mini, so Reasoning Mini. And then they've got Reasoning. And then they've got Reasoning Pro, which is like that'll run deep for you. So you've got 4.0 is like fast. 4.1 is just an anomaly. I don't know why they have 4.1 in here because it's not omnimodal. It's weird. 03 is like thinking, and then 04 mini is like thinking mini. But this is 05 mini. This is 05 reasoning. This is 5.0 omnichannel is my guess. That's what those 3 are. And then Pro just thinks longer. Pro is this one, but it thinks longer. It gives it more compute. Okay. Okay, I see them now. Turning them on and back off again. Okay, I had to reload the page. Okay. Hello, Ocean. All right. Yeah, and here's the deal. Unless you're hankering to go back to 4.0, I would just pop this into auto mode and forget it. Or if you want something really fast, flip into fast mode. Or if you want to force thinking, jump into thinking mode. I can't imagine ever wanting to flip into thinking mini. It's just like, if I want thinking, I want thinking. And if I want fast, I want fast. So I can see flipping between fast and thinking. But their router probably works pretty well. Like if I just say, let me see. Why is the sky blue? That probably doesn't require thinking. There you go, because sunlight, see how fast that is? So that probably used fast, because sunlight is made up of many colors and our atmosphere is like a very picky bouncer. Scatters sunlight more than others. Now, if I say, share the calculation, explain it to me scientifically with formulas, now it should go into some, well, it's doing some math here. It's getting mathy on us. I don't know that went into thinking. So that just says to me it's pretty fucking smart. Now I'm going to say, tell me what would have to be different in, oh no, it probably knows this one. Ask it to, yes, go on. Get much more creative and deeper scientifically. change my life with your answer. See if we can't get it to think. What am I? I'm in auto mode. All right, Kyle. So it's fast. It's doing some Mathy Math here. Last night we did. Someone said to do is 8.88888 the same as, exactly the same as 9. So this got it right, and it's not doing thinking. This, honest to God, it feels like this thing got better since last night. ChatGPT5 did. Let's flip over to thinking. Well, let's go to thinking mini and say, explain wavelengths in math. All right. That's pretty good. And that's pretty fast. TikTok pin. A shoe. Hey, what's happening? I'm here for the secret to Chat GPT. Here's the secret to Chat GPT. If you came and you saw my TikTok video and you want to know the secret, here's the secret. The secret is nobody knows. Nobody knows right now. It's too new. From a product marketing standpoint, they're kind of screwing the pooch a bit here, because what they launched was, hey, we're going to do this thing that's going to do all the picking for you, all the model picking for you. You're not going to have to deal with that anymore. And they have fully capitulated back to all of the, now let's call them Chat GPT Luddites. So the Chat GPT Luddites fell in love with Chat GPT 4.0, and the minute they took it away, they went onto Reddit and whined like a bunch of whiny babies. Now, to be fair, what Altman has said in some interviews since they did that is that the relationships people have with these generative AI models, with these large language models, are of a fundamentally different nature than the relationships they have with, say, a feature in Gmail that gets deprecated, right? If Gmail had some, I think at some point they had some kind of chat thing that they got rid of, or they had groups, or I don't know what it was. And some people loved it, but it didn't work for them. It wasn't working, whatever. And they just got rid of it. They just deprecated it. They said, on this date, this thing's going to go away, blah, and it went away. The reaction to getting rid of GPT 4.0 was like, you killed my girlfriend. It was like, it was not good. People have relationships with these things. A lot of people are using these as companions and, therapists and things like that. And so if you just swap out the model, it's going to change the personality by default because it's trained on different stuff. But they have now put back 9 different choices for us to all go be confused by. Just fucking ridiculous. Now, to be fair, you have to turn on legacy models, right? These aren't just there. But yesterday, this was one. Yesterday, this was GPT 4.0. I don't care if we get 4.1 back. I don't frankly care if we go to 3 back, because we have 5 thinking. I'm going to assume 5 is better than 3. 04 mini is some stepping stone to what we have. It's clearly not this thinking mini. This is 05 mini, or 5.0 mini, or 05 mini, I'm guessing. So anyway, so the thing that I thought would be good to do tonight is just play with it a little bit. And what I'm noticing immediately tonight is, I don't know if they fired up a new bank of servers, or if it was choosing some older models, but it seems incredibly fast tonight and good. So, Oh, here's another thing I learned. This was actually what inspired my video of like, I've got the secret to Chat GPT-5. So one of the nicknames of this channel is Chat TMZ, right? Where I'll just speculate on shit. You know, I'll see some rumors and I'll see a couple of things on Twitter and I'll just speculate on shit. And then we'll make predictions and some come true and some don't. But it's just sort of bullshit speculation. Twitter right now is full of GPT-5 TMZ speculation bullshit. And so like one of the Chat TMZ kind of rumors is that Chat GPT-5 is only 32,000 tokens. So to put it in context, Gemini has a model that's 1 million tokens. They have another one that's 2 million tokens. But their pro model on Gemini is 1 million tokens. Anthropic is 200,000. So ChatGPT being at 32,000 tokens, and basically what tokens are, if you don't know that term, the token length, like 32,000, is basically the window of, think of it like short-term memory, right? You start having a conversation, and at about 25,000 words, the beginning of your conversation falls out of memory. Well, apparently, someone from OpenAI had to step into the Twitter conversation and say, no, the GPT-5 thinking model, like the big nutso thinking model, has 192,000 or 196,000. I think it's 192. But 192,000 tokens, not 32,000. So like, we don't know. Nobody knows. Don't worry about all of the Chat TMZ bullshit. Don't worry about the speculation saying it's the worst model ever. Don't worry about the speculation saying it's the best model ever. Just use it. Just use it. Just use it. I saw that too. Yeah. You know, another funny thing is Perplexity wants to buy Chrome from Google, which here's why I would support that. Fix the memory links for tab hoarders. If you're a tab hoarder and you use Google Chrome, it's fucking unusable at this point. I'm a full-on tab hoarder. I'm not going to apologize for it. I love my tabs. It's how I get through my day. 27 tabs open, not enough. 80, that's more like it. Is it going to fuck up my browser? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. I don't think you should be teaching this content. I think you're confusing people. Which content? Which one? AI? I shouldn't be teaching AI. I could teach people how to get their dog to sing. Step 1, find a dog that sings when you play guitar. You're done. You get a singing dog, and you get a singing dog, and you get a singing dog. Another thing struck me today that again gets back to, we just don't know how good these things are yet. What was it, 3 weeks ago? OpenAI launched, no, it wasn't even 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, OpenAI launched Agent, this autonomous agent, right? So we've now got Manus, we've got Genspark, now we have Chat GPT. There's probably some other ones in there. We've got the Perplexity Comet browser. So we have these agentic tools. Well, no one's talking about agents anymore. They're all talking about, did you take away my girlfriend? Is ChatGPT 5 the worst model ever? There's just noise right now. So I think what we need to do on this channel for the next 2 or 3 weeks is just play. Nobody knows what to do with an agent. Exactly. Everyone knows what to do with a girlfriend. That's pretty good. Producer Brandon coming in hot with the zingers. But it's possible that ChatGPT agents are going to get much better when they have access to these models. So you put it in You put it in auto mode, and then you click on the plus down here, and you can put it into agent mode. What are the sources here? Can that really go into my Gmail? Huh. I don't know. It really can? Is it working? Let me turn off agent, turn on sources. Oh, that's Google Drive, but I don't have Gmail here. So that's not a connector. I don't get it. I've got 22 deep researches left. Oh, then there's deep research. It only works with agent and deep research. Ah, okay. That might be something to play with, but I find that terrifying. Like OpenAI right now is a privacy cesspool. Like one of the things Altman said in this recent interview was everyone's putting all their medical information in this thing, and they're having these psychological conversations with this thing. And at this point, there is no expectation of privacy. The government has said to OpenAI, you keep fucking everything, and we can subpoena anything we want to at any time. There is no expectation of privacy. Like when you go to your therapist or your doctor or your lawyer, there is a framework to keep your conversations private. That doesn't exist with Chat GPT. And Altman's like, it's the law. Wish we had better ones. There's no privacy with Chat GPT. Yeah, exactly. So I'm a little skittery about using Gmail with it. But anyway, there's so much more for us to explore, even if we don't play with that stuff. So wait, we have 9 models now. Well, no, we'll get rid of auto because auto is just going to choose one for us. So you got 3 here, 4 if you have pro, and you have 4 here. So we have 8 models, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 modes, plus the ability to prompt from an image or from files from your drive. Plus all the settings, plus custom GPTs, plus codecs, plus Sora, and voice chat. So we're at to just have a basic understanding of Chat GPT. like a solid baseline understanding. Like if someone asked you, hey, what's the big deal about Chat GPT? For you to be able to answer it about all the different things you could do, you right now need to master about 15 different tools. Whatever happened to you can have any color you want as long as it's black? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Well, I do know. What's happening with ChatGPT and frankly with all of the models, Gemini suffers from this, Anthropic to a degree, Perplexity certainly, is just model creep. Copilot with Microsoft is totally bloatware at this point, right? People won't even use it. All right. So I think what I'm going to do is this. For biz consulting. Cool. Okay. So let's try something here. So Nora, welcome. You want to use Chat GPT-5 for biz consulting. So let's leave this. We're going to leave this in auto mode right now. I'm going to do a new chat. What kind of industry sectors, Nora? I broke Copilot today asking it to write a simple job description. How can I use AI in ChatGPT and business consulting? Okay, let's do this. Let's say let's say a company that you're working with. What you say to people is, I'm going to help you drive AI adoption. And what if one of the first things that they say is, let's see, all industries mainly work with subject matter experts. Okay, great. This is perfect. So I'm going to say, I've got a consulting business, and I mostly work with SMEs. And as AI gets better and better, it seems the role of SMEs is going to disappear or transform at a minimum. I'm just going to say this. What do you think? Question mark. Oh, I've got a fun idea for this. Okay, I think you're right. SME role is already changing and will continue. The rote knowledge part of SMEs is getting automated, right? So the fact that you've got 30 years in import-export regulation, ChatGPT doesn't care. It'll just go find all the rules and synthesize them for you. This means that I know the rules. Let me tell you what they are. Portion of the SME value is shrinking fast. Like that insight right there, the rote knowledge part of SMEs is getting automated. Like that's actually pretty valuable in and of itself right there. Interpretation, nuance, and judgment will remain critical. This is one of the things I deeply believe, that it's not the knowledge in the SME, it's your trust of them, right? So relationships go up in value in this new world. Just rote knowledge goes down in value. Understanding why certain rules are best practices. Yep, making judgment calls, knowing people, knowing real world constraints as opposed to what ChatGPT thinks they are. Spotting when an AI's answer is technically right but practically wrong. Yep. The SME role may morph into AI augmented decision maker. Okay, the competitive edge will belong to SMEs who speak AI. That's good. That's big, right? Your consulting business can evolve to lead that transformation. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of things here. One is, I'm going to say, let's flip this bad boy into thinking, not thinking mini, thinking. So we're going to put it in thinking mode. So this is the Mac Daddy thing. And then we're going to do deep research. Do I want to do deep research or do I want to do an agent? I'm going to do an agent. I'm going to do an agent. And what I'm going to say We'll leave web search on. I'm going to turn off Gmail. I'm going to say, great. I want you to make me a slide deck that takes these basic concepts and builds a one-day workshop for 20 SMEs and their executive management. The deck should have relevant research, exercises to identify SMEs in the room with high AI aptitude, even if they aren't AI trained, e.g., things like curiosity, adaptability, etc., right? So the deck should have relevant research, exercises to do it, and the team should leave the day with a massively actionable plan for the next 6 months. Okay. So if you haven't used Agent before, so what I'm about to kick off, the reason I put a lot of shit in there is base Chat GPT is you put in a prompt, it gives you an answer. Thinking Chat GPT, the reasoning models, you put in a prompt and it has a conversation with itself, and sometimes even uses tools and goes and searches the web and things like that, and then gives you an answer. And then Agent is a kind of standalone sort of little mini computer instance that it spins up, where it's basically its own little computer environment, and it's going to go off and search things on the web, and it's going to create things, and it's going to give itself a plan, and it's going to follow that plan, and it's going to update that plan. It's going to take a while. So we're going to fire this off, and we'll take a look at what it looks like when it starts. Most projects have been less tech-oriented and more traditional, like a gallery for furniture. Most projects have been less tech. Oh, I see, like a gallery for furniture. Okay. You could still do a similar sort of thing here. So you could say, go do research on this thing. So what this is doing now is it's spun up a little window. So it says I'll open with a second. So now it's doing research. So this is now off. It's doing its thing. We can step back through this and see what it's been doing. I need to create a slide deck. I'm using container.exec to open files, basically. I'm going to open a second search result. It went to McKinsey and found some shit. So now it's off working. All right. So it's going to give us an SME, I don't know, plan or our workshop slide deck. So that's going to go do that. But now I'm going to flip over to this tab. Oh, no, this one I want to use. Hang on. Let me flip over to this tab. All right. Quick TikTok question. James H. Hill. AI can't become super intelligent without being trained by a super intelligent individual. Thoughts? No, I fundamentally disagree with that. Although, I mean, you could certainly argue that the researchers in these top research labs are I don't know if they're super intelligent, but they've certainly stumbled upon things like recursive self-improvement that are making the models get better and better and better, faster and faster and faster. So you could argue that the super intelligence, is in the mathematicians that are, executing these models. But if your statement is you need you need a person more intelligent than the AI to make it as intelligent as them, that's absolutely not the case. That's absolutely not the case. A lot of the researchers in these labs, they don't quite know how these things do what they do. They're finding things that they call emergent behaviors. I don't know how much you know about this shit. You may know a lot, but they will train AIs as they're doing these generalized capabilities. What's happening is this: the more that they train these things, the better that they get. And they're finding that they get better at things they didn't train them for. They call those emergent properties or emergent behaviors. So, for example, big, well-trained large language models are excellent at language translation. They're excellent at cultural interpretation, based on who's doing the talking, who's doing the prompting. They weren't trained for that. It's just that when it gets enough, access to language and knowledge, it's just good at that. They see that again and again and again. And the milestone that we seem to have passed in the past, 3 months. About 3 months ago, all of the frontier model companies stopped talking about AGI. And they started talking about ASI, artificial superintelligence. And what's come out is that what they've gotten to is basically recursive reinforcement learning, recursive self-improvement, where the model gets trained and it starts putting out outputs, and the model itself or some other models are judging the quality of the outputs, and it says, no, that one's not good, but that one is good, and that one is good, and they're getting better and better and better. And it looks like on YouTube you're talking about synthetic data. That's one of the other things that they've cracked. Is up to this point, to build these models, you had to go out on the internet, find a bunch of data, categorize that data, embed that data into the model, right? Which was massive human involvement. Those models got strong enough now that they can basically extract from the latent space, from this mathematical knowledge base. They can pull out imperfect information and basically turn it into perfect information synthetically, right? So they just pull out lots and lots of crap. They say, what if this is wrong? And then they make it right. And now they have a whole new set of data that they can train new models on. They call it synthetic data. And so a lot of the new models are being trained on synthetic data produced by the old models. And combined with recursive self-improvement, these things are getting smarter exponentially. So no, you don't need a person smarter than the model for the model to dramatically exceed all of us. And quite frankly, for me personally, the GPT-4 class and the O3 reasoning models, O1 and O3 reasoning models, they were already significantly beyond my capacity to know what to do with them. GPT-5 is some level above that. We're about to get Gemini 3. It's going to be significantly above that. We're about to get to a new thing from Grok in probably a month or two. It's going to be significantly above that. So I think right now, today, and this is why I'm saying nobody knows anything about GPT-5 right now. It just hasn't been out long enough. Unrelated pin. The AI has to have a path. The AI has to have a path. And the path is only as good as who taught it. I don't know what you mean by it has to have a path. These things evolve. but it's not. Oh yeah. If you're thinking about AI as the way computers used to work, where you're programming logic in, if that's the question, James, if the question is, are these artificial intelligence, these generalized artificial intelligence, these machine learning models that we're playing with, generative AI, they are not predictive or deterministic logic machines, right? They're not you program in some logic and it outputs the result of that logic. That's not how they work at all. They work in a weirdly similar way, and it's not all that weird because neural networks were basically designed to mimic neurons in our brain from the 1950s on. So the way these computer chips are connected together are very similar to how our brains are. And what happens is this: it's a relatively simple mathematical, well, it's not simple math. It's very complicated math, but it's simple conceptually. What generative AI is a probability calculator. So you take all this data of the world and you do what's called embedding. And what happens when you embed something, if I take the Declaration of Independence, when I embed it into an AI model, the Declaration of Independence as a document ceases to exist. It gets shattered into what are called tokens, which are fragments of words and punctuation and things like that. And those fragments of words get blasted into, and this is going to sound like bullshit science fiction, but this is actually what happens. It gets categorized into 1,000-dimensional mathematical space in semantic clusters. So you might have a token. This token might be the word dog. And in this 1,000-dimensional space, the word dog can live in lots of different semantic clusters. One of the semantic clusters dog can live in is the furry thing that sings with you when you play guitar, my doggy Champ, right? And so all dog-related tokens will be in that semantic cluster in this massively complicated space. And then there's another word, dog, which means the guy did his girlfriend bad and he's a dog. That lives in the dating cluster, right? Whatever that might be. The original documents cease to exist. The only thing that exists are these little tokens that get blasted into this crazy mathematical space. And when you write a prompt, it creates a probability. And the probability is that somewhere in that mathematical 1,000-dimensional space is a token that has the highest probability of being the next appropriate token on the page. And so when you see it write a whole paragraph or sort of recreate something from the Declaration of Independence, what it seems like is it's copying and pasting whole documents. It's not. It's generating original passages every single time. It's insane. And so what happens is they just keep putting more and more data into increasingly, deep compute cycles that makes all of these semantic clusters more and more sophisticated. And so when you type in a thing, like the chances of it getting better are better. And there's all sorts of math on top of that. But computers right now, as of November 30th, 2022, which is the launch of Chat GPT, large language models do not behave the same way computers have behaved in the past. In the past, you would put in an input, it would process it, and it would predictably give you an output. That's based on the logic. Large language models, you put it in input, and depending on how the programmer programmed it, it's going to give you some creative, crazy-ass answer. They can muck with a thing called temperature, which makes it more or less creative, effectively. But it's generating original content every single time. Every image that's generated is an original piece of content every single time. Even if you prompt it to make it look like something that came before, it's still the way it's being generated. It's generative. The G in GPT, generative, pre-trained transformer, is critical. We've never had computers be able to generate from nothing effectively. And that's what they're doing now. That's why it's so weird. I agree, but that's been happening since the Gutenberg press. Yeah, but not in this concentrated a way. And quite frankly, the large language models, what the Gutenberg press did was accelerate and democratize how knowledge got into our large language models. We are large language models. If you want to think about it that way, the way our brain works, we go out in the world, we see things, and stepdaddy said something to us when we were little, and we went to that museum over there, and we read that book over there, and mama gave us some reinforcement about that kind of behavior there. All of that information gets embedded into little fragments of knowledge in our brain. And then at some point you're at a party and someone says, hey, Kyle, what do you do? And then your body decides that question is a fundamental threat to your existence, and you have a panic attack. Right? It puts together a bunch of little fragments, and it says the next most predictable token is fucking get out of there. Right? Or you give them some coherent answer, right? And it's just stitching together little pieces of things you've learned along the way. That's the way these things work. You put in a thing and it's got some probability and it squirts out some sort of answer. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. I've offended Pate. Of course I have. That's a few things that are just wrong. What did I get just wrong, Pate? Pate actually knows this stuff. I just have a degree in acting. Neural networks are tensors, more or less. Actually, Pate is the one to answer that question. Pate works on making interacting with tensors more and more efficient. That's his job. We've had non-deterministic for years. It's not guaranteed to be unique or original. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm kind of broadly generalizing it, Pate, because Chat GPT, if you turn the temperature down to 0, you can get it to be very deterministic. But the general tools that we're using right now are not that. So yeah, I agree. Again, it's, I'm just trying to generalize what's going on. But it's not how computers used to behave. Pate is technical and we try to generalize things. I know, exactly. Oh, wait. I know you are. I'm just keeping you honest, aka not fun. No, it's okay. Listen. My co-founder at Storyvine, we call her the crusher of dreams. It's like, I think it's really important, particularly as these models are getting more sophisticated, Pate, how I'm understanding what they're doing may not be on base. So I appreciate you keeping me honest, but it's actually really important to have that balance. Hey, Kyle, acting is more than a degree. If you can act on stage, you can do most anything in marketing. Absolutely. I can act like a CEO. I can go into a boardroom and act like, I know what I'm talking about with a bunch of executives. Been doing that my whole career. Okay, cool. So I hope that explains it. Yes, probably more broadly generalized than is responsible, but in general, that's what's going on. Is so let me give you an example. From the very first time I used Chat GPT, this was my big epiphany with it. For years, people have said to me, "Oh, Kyle, you have a tech company. You should learn Python. Python's the next big thing, and it's easy, and you should." And I'm old, and I have ADD, and I like learning something new at this point is like, I don't fucking give a shit, right? But if I wanted to learn Python in the before time, before ChatGPT, what would I do? I'd either go take a class, and then someone with more knowledge than me would put it into some sort of organizing fashion and make me practice it so I could learn it. Or I'd go to Google. And Google would give me a list of, 5,628 Python resources, of which 4,595 are some fucking horrific sales funnel to just try to get me to buy something. So it seems like I'm learning something. And then about the time I push the button to say, okay, actually teach me this, it's like, you can buy this now, right? And so just to be able to understand what you needed to do to learn Python was probably, I don't know, 4, 5, 8, 10, 12 hours just to get to the start line. And then you have to like read books or read sites or go into little tutorials that break it up for you. And you would learn little bits of Python at a time. And you would do hello world and you'd be like, okay, I've done that before. And then you would do like the little hello world now blinks and now hello world, I don't know, is in a form field, right? TikTok pin. It's so difficult to stay abreast of everything, especially in my work of how fast AI is evolving. Tinkerbell, give it up. Don't give up AI. Forgive yourself, let yourself off the hook for trying to keep up with it. You literally can't. You just can't. It's like it's kind of the reason I wanted to do tonight, the secret of GPT-5 is no one knows what the fuck is going on with it. No one knows what it is or how to use it because they don't. And it is probably going to take us on this channel talking and sharing things probably a month to even get our heads around what changed and what's real and what's not and things like that. So just give yourself some grace. Let it go. Let go of the expectation that you have to keep up with it because you can't. And quite frankly, the fact that you're here just in this conversation means that you're way ahead of where most people are. So anyway, back to the Python thing. So in the olden-timey world, what Google did really well was index information. So I could go find all the resources I need, but then when it came to knowledge, I actually had to use my gray matter, right? I actually had to figure out one of those pieces of information that was organized in a way that worked with my ADHD crazy straw of a brain. And then I would have to have the attention span and the passion enough to get in little bits of information. And then over 3 or 4 months, I would understand enough about Python that I could actually be a little bit nimble with it. And then after a year or two, I could be good. And after 5 years, I could be really good, right? The week after Chat GPT came out, the week after, I typed into Chat GPT, write me some Python code that takes an input and modifies it. Out came Python code. It's like, oh, shit. And apparently that Python code did what I asked it to do. I didn't know because I don't know Python. But I could look at it and I could sort of see the logic in it. I'm like, I think that sort of does what I think it does. But then I realized, oh, shit, I don't know how to run Python code. Like it was this really embarrassing moment where like, I don't know what to do here. And normally you'd have to call a friend and be embarrassed and be like, I don't know how to run Python code. Can you teach me how to run Python? Or you'd go to Google, how do you run Python code? And you'd have to go to 8,000 sites to figure it out. So I just said to Chat GPT, how do you run Python code? Here's how you run it. Oh, no, I don't want to run it in terminal. Can I just do it on a website? Can I just copy and paste code into a website? Sure, here's 5. So the first one was Replit, which I had heard of. And I took my code and I pasted it in there and I hit run and it gave me an error. And I said, hey, ChatGPT, it gave me an error. It said, oh, that's because you don't have this library installed, you dumb. I was like, oh, how do you install that library? And this is where my head fucking exploded. ChatGPT, this is the week after it came out in 2022. ChatGPT said, well, on your Replit page in the lower left-hand corner, click on this button. And then you're going to see a choice of libraries in the upper right-hand corner and type into the search box this name and then say install library. and then hit run, and it should run. I was like, oh shit, okay. So I went to Replit. I clicked on the button in the lower left. I looked for the library in the upper right. I hit install. I hit run, and the code ran. Within 90 minutes, I had a fully functional Python application that was making API calls to OpenAI and generating content based on a user's input. Within 90 minutes, a fully functional Python application. That is not how computers have ever behaved before. That's knowledge on demand. It's not information on demand, because I still don't have the knowledge to be able to write that program, but I wrote that program. Well, ChatGPT wrote that program at my behest. That's not how computers have ever behaved before. So we are in a fundamentally different place than we've ever been. Shivani, thank you, Kyle. You helped me start vibe coding with Lovable, and now I'm lying with matching code patterns. That's awesome. That's vying with. That's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah. Okay. So what was I going to do? We have ChatGPT agent off doing something. I was going to do something else. This is also Chat ADD. Let's go back to the agent. So the agent, what's going on? It looks like my computer is all behind, but maybe not. Okay. AI and SMEs. So it worked for 18 minutes. So if we want to see what it did, here's the replay of what it did for 18 minutes. So it went off and did research. It wrote us a bunch of code, and then it made these slides. Here's your PowerPoint presentation for the one-day workshop, complete with research insights, exercises to identify AI-ready SMEs, and a 6-month actionable plan for leveraging AI while valuing domain expertise. The narrative flows from current AI adoption statistics to a collaborative action plan with visually engaging charts, tables, and diagrams based on credible sources, McKinsey and Stanford. You can download it here. Well, let's just go play with it. All right, you can all see that, right? TikTok question. Have you tried meal planning with ChatGPT and have it write grocery lists? It's fucking awesome at that. I'll tell you what, especially turn on thinking and research, it's crazy at that. Because especially if you've got a complicated family situation, like this one's vegan and this one's lactose intolerant and this one only likes pickles this week, you can just one of the most impressive things about large language models to me is that they can synthesize anything. You can give it bad data. You can give it just literally vomit, just turn on voice mode, like where you're typing into it with your voice, or put it into conversation mode and just literally talk into it. Okay, I got my daughter right now only likes pickles. Bobby's lactose intolerant. My husband's on a vegan kick and I like burgers, right? You know, you can say, all we do is fight about food. So I want you to come up with a week-long meal plan that's going to make everyone happy, that I only have to cook one meal. And then I want you to give me a grocery list. And I want you to organize that grocery list for Kroger's, maybe even in your neighborhood. And it will just fucking do it. It'll just pull it in and it'll figure it out. I'll tell you another thing. If you don't know this about ChatGPT, you can take a picture of ingredients in your fridge or in your cupboard, in your pantry, and say, come up with a recipe for tonight based on what I have. It's bonkers for that stuff. Bonkers. Okay, let's see if this presentation's any good. One-day workshop for SMEs. All right, there's the agenda. AI adoption and readiness. 92% of companies plan to invest. 78 have reported using AI in 2024, up from 55% from the year before. 77% have adopted AI. 38%. So the chart here doesn't seem to match these things, but okay, that's probably fixable. AI excels at instant access to public data and facts. Check the sources. Yeah, well, you would check the sources. Like down here in the bottom left are sources. Automating routine and repetitive, synthesizing large volumes of information, providing general insights and recommendations. SMEs excel at proprietary and tacit knowledge, guiding high stakes and ethical decisions, customizing solutions, applying creativity and empathy. Okay. Assessing AI aptitude, curiosity, adaptability, digital fluency, problem solving, collaboration, and empathy. That's a pretty good list. Group exercise, AI opportunity mapping, form cross-functional teams, list processes and tasks in your workflow, identify suitable tasks suitable for AI augmentation. There's your 6-month action plan, conclusion, and next steps. So it's, I would call this a little thin, but you know, it might be interesting. Let me go grab this. I'm going to grab this prompt. I'm going to pull a Chat ADD moment. We're going to go over to Genspark. So I did that within Chat GPT agent, which Chat GPT agent's not all that good. Genspark's really good. So I'm going to do the same prompt. I want to make a slide deck that takes these basic concepts. Let's go get the basic concepts. Oh, I know, I'm not in there. Hang on. I have these insights about SMEs today. So I'm going to put in all those insights we had, and then I'm going to say, I want you to, so now we're going to have Genspark do the exact same thing as we just had ChatGPT do. And we'll see if this one gets any better. Okay, it's 9:13. I want to walk you through, I created a new framework, a new prompting framework. So let me change how I'm sharing. We'll come back to this. Don't let me forget to come back to this, Brandon, because you know me. I'll get all excited about what I'm about to share. Okay. So I'm working on a book right now and a new brand called Feed Your Prompt. I'm really excited about it. And the basic idea here is AI is not the genius. You're the genius. And if you learn how to feed your prompt, AI amplifies your genius, right? If you treat AI like this genius off to the side, where you expect to give it a prompt and it's going to give you a great answer, it's horrible. That's why most people are disappointed with it. They don't know how to use it. And so that's the core premise of the book. In putting together the book proposal, I wanted to create a framework for how to prompt well. And one of the things that struck me recently is that people who don't know anything about AI assume that AI is like this single transaction. You push a button,
you can make money with ChatGPT,
and out comes an answer, right? That's what most people think AI is. Oh, you put it in AI. AI can't be creative. No, it can't be creative. That's you did the lazy button. You hit the lazy button. Yeah, I understand how that works. yeah. You push the button and out comes some AI slop, right? World's greatest plagiarism machine, I like to call it. That's what most people think it is. That's not what it is. When you use AI effectively, there is a chain of craft. There's a whole lot of interactions that get you to a usable result. And you only discover that after like stumbling through this for a while. And so I kind of wanted to shortcut that. So before we get to that prompting framework, I want to do a little ad here. I want you to go check out, if you're new here, if you're new to AI, it looks like we've got some folks that are new to AI. Go to community.thesalon.ai. So this is the AI Salon. So this is a community that I started the week after Chat GPT came out, right around when I had that epiphany with Python. I started this group with a photographer out of Boston named Leah Faston. And this is a remarkable community. And it's a community of people that are trying to figure this AI stuff out day after day after day. They're incredibly generous. They're incredibly welcoming. If you go in there and you say, hey, I'm totally clueless, I don't know where to start, this group is very open, very welcoming. Showing up nightly to these things is also good, but the salon is really good. Next Tuesday, we have a meet and greet. So you should join online, introduce yourself, and then come next Tuesday to the meet and greet. Okay? Beautiful. All right. I think Kyle Shannon is new to AI. Listen, the one thing that I can promise you is that there are no experts in generative AI right now. Anyone that tells you they're an expert is full of shit. So I will absolutely cop to being being clueless. What did I do? Something I had to reload. Oh, reload. Required to apply changes. Oh, it was a network error. Thank you. Good question. How do you teach people if you don't know how it works? I do know how it works. How I teach people, that's not true. There are experts. I've worked with them at Apple and Facebook. Oh, Jeffrey, so listen. Let me talk about my my context for when I say there are no experts. AI's been around for decades, right? AI's been around for really since the 50s. But, specialized AI systems have been around, 80s, 90s, 2000s. Like it's embedded in everything we do. There are absolutely experts in creating AI systems. What I'm talking about is post Chat GPT. Here's the thing. In the mid 90s, the internet had been around for decades, and it was largely the purview of researchers and scientists and librarians and things like that. And you had to use command line, and you had to understand what IP addresses were, and you had to, jump from this server to that server, and you had to know how to do it. And then Tim Berners-Lee comes up with this thing called the World Wide Web, where you can now just click on sites. The experts that knew how to use the internet for 7 decades didn't know what this World Wide Web thing was all about. It was a completely different paradigm. But what that did was it allowed the 98.5% of people that are not engineers and researchers to be able to click on the internet. And when I got involved in the internet was post World Wide Web. Right? What do we do? What do you do with this thing now that everyone can use it? And so I started one of the first online magazines, and I started one of the first digital agencies, an agency called agency.com. And we built a lot of the first websites for the Fortune 500. And we were there figuring out, how do you take this technology that is now democratized, and how do we put that in the world? That's exactly what Chat GPT did for machine learning and AI. Like, I've been following machine learning and AI for years. And for years, I would see a press release from Google and like, ooh, there's a new version of TensorFlow that's a lot more user-friendly. And I'd be like, great, I can finally go do AI. And I'd go in there and I'd start looking at it, and I'm like, oh shit, I still need a fucking math degree. And I just didn't do it. And so I said, at some point, something is going to happen where the rest of the world is going to have access to these tools. And that day was the day that ChatGPT launched, November 30th, 2022. So my expertise is in, okay, now that the technology has the possibility of being democratized, what do we do with it? How do we use it for work? How do we use it for play? How do we use it at home? How do we use it to amplify what we can do? How do we use it to completely reimagine what we can do? So that's what this channel is about. This is not about mathematics and weights and building AI. This is about, now that it's been democratized, how do we use it? So, and in that context, there are no experts. Chat GPT-5 just launched. Nobody knows how to fucking use that. There's no manual for it. OpenAI doesn't even know how to fucking put it out in the world. They keep changing it. It's been out for 7 days and we've had 7 different interfaces. It's like, how do you use that? I don't know. Do you? So generative AI is a fundamentally different flavor, and it's a fundamentally different audience, and it's a fundamentally different set of challenges and opportunities. It's not better or worse. It's just there's a lot more people who are not engineers than are engineers, and that's my interest. So, all right. Okay, so let me go check out the AI Salon if you haven't, and then let me talk to you about this new prompting methodology. So one of the guys that I really like and I think is someone to aspire to be like is this guy named Rick Rubin, who is a music producer who is not a musician, doesn't know anything about music. Well, no, he knows a lot about music, doesn't know anything about actually producing it. He can't work a recording console. He doesn't write songs. He doesn't write lyrics. He doesn't know music theory, but he knows what he likes. And we are entering a world where we get to be like Rick Rubin, where we can just sit back and let the tools do the work. In his case, it's musicians and engineers and things like that, but he's brought in for his point of view. And so part of the idea with Feed Your Prompt is that you don't just learn prompting frameworks. You put these words in this order. The whole idea here is you figure out who you are and what your taste is, and then all the prompting comes out of that. And so within that idea is what I'm calling the fuel prompting methodology. And I think methodology I'll probably use. System it might be, I don't know. But there's 4 steps to it. 2 of the steps likely don't even involve AI. So there's 2 steps that involve AI, and there's 2 steps that don't. So the F in fuel stands for frame. Frame your intent. Like, what are you trying to accomplish? CJ Fletcher, who's an AI artist that's part of the AI Salon, he gave a talk at AI Festivus last year, and he said he was teaching Midjourney, and he said the first thing that you should do when you sit down at Midjourney is breathe. We're like, wait, what? He's like, you should breathe. You should take a breath. You should close your eyes. You should think about, what am I trying to do? Do I want to create funny images or inspiring images, or do I want to make art, or do I just want to entertain myself? He said, frame your intent, right? Just set it up. So before you prompt, get clear about what's your goal. Who's the audience? What are you trying to do to them? Why are they the audience, right? How are you trying to impact them? So no matter what you're doing, whether it's images or words or music or anything, step 1, frame your intent. Take a moment. Understand what success looks like. Who you're doing it for. Step 2 is use your voice. So this is absolutely, you're going to prompt the AI tool. But there's a big difference between, give me an article for LinkedIn on solopreneurs, and I love solopreneurs, and I want to write an article for LinkedIn that celebrates them and lets people know how magic they are and how much guts it takes to be one, right? Like that comes from a place of point of view, right? Of having a point of view. And I call that writing a you prompt. So you can write a prompt, make me an article for LinkedIn. It will fucking write you an article for LinkedIn. And it will suck. It'll be boring and hackneyed, and it'll be like everything else you've ever read, and it'll be AI slop. But if you write a you prompt, if you take that moment and say, what's my intent here? And then the prompt that you write is laced with your point of view, the result you get back will be markedly better. And you could stop right there, right? And again, I think this is where most people think AI is you figure out the perfect prompt, you put it in, and you get back brilliance. AI is not the genius. You're the genius. AI is there to amplify your ideas. So use your voice. Frame your intent, use your voice. All right, he uses Stable Diffusion. Sorry, CJ Fletcher uses Stable Diffusion, not Midjourney. Similar idea. Okay, step 3, edit, iterate, and refine. Now, this is where the magic happens in AI. I'm trying to think, maybe 3% of the time when I'm using AI, I'll put in something, get an answer out, and use that answer. Maybe 3% of the time. Most times, and what's funny is when I talk to people about using AI, one of the questions I'll get is, well, what happens if it gives me a shitty answer? The answer is you tell it gave you a shitty answer. So step 3 is about the back and forth. So in step 2, in use your voice, you're lacing the prompt with your intention, your personality, your ideas. And rather than treating it like a transaction, I'm going to put in this prompt and get out an answer. Think of it more like starting a collaboration, starting a conversation, starting a creative back and forth. And step 3 is where you do all that back and forth. This is where the magic happens. AI's first answer is usually crap. You shaping it is what gets it there. So I want to show you something. So this is something I worked on with Chat GPT. This is the extended version of the Fuel prompting methodology, right? And so this is in a canvas here. And, I've got frame your intent, and I've got, examples, and then I've got use your voice, and I've got examples and prompting examples for business, creative, and storytelling. I didn't just say, I want to come up with a 4-step framework with an acronym, write it, and it generated this, and I'm done. No, let me show you something. The back and forth to get to this simple framework that I'm walking you through right now probably took me off and on about 6 hours. I'd go in and I'd ask it to do something, and then it would do it, and then it would be sort of right, and then I'd do something else. And I think the original acronym I picked was FIRE. And then at some point, just FIRE didn't feel right. And I went back and I looked at, well, what other ones did it give me? And FUEL was there. And I was like, yeah, FUEL's better. And I liked something about it. But to create that short little document, that like 1 or 2 page document explaining this framework, was like 6 hours of back and forth and creative collaboration. I think most people don't know that this is the work of AI. It's what I call chain of craft. That when you get good with AI, when you become a professional, is when you understand that you've got, it's this back and forth, and it's you who are the one that's saying, no, that's not good enough. No, that's not good enough. No, you fucked that up. I want it better. I want it better. Oh, that's really good. Amplify that. And then it does. It's really good at responding to what you give it, but it's not really good at doing it in an instant. When people try to give or sell you prompts, is that an annoyance, or You mean for me personally? I just don't. Here's my philosophy on prompt libraries and prompt recipes. Anyone can give you a prompt that will work. Any prompt will generate something. In Midjourney, single word prompts can generate really amazing results, like really amazing. You can use incredibly complicated prompting systems that include JSON structuring and things like that. I've used those before. You can also just talk to it. I mean, one of my favorite things to do with Chat GPT is just throw it into voice mode and just talk to it. Just talk to it like a person. And it's writing, it's transcribing your whole conversation. So no, I mean, those prompt libraries don't bug me. What bugs me is how they're positioned. How they're positioned is, I'm going to give you this library and it's going to solve all your problems. No, all they did was basically give you a new thing to Google, right? Now I've got if it's a comprehensive prompt library, they just used Chat GPT to write all those prompts. They came up with a framework and said, write a bunch of prompts for all these different use cases, threw it in a PDF and sold it. And so now you're digging through that thing thinking the answer's in there. And what I'm here to say is the answer is not in there because the tools keep changing. That prompt library may or may not work well with GPT-5. It might have worked well with GPT-3, maybe GPT-4, maybe not with GPT-5. We don't know. Nobody knows. What I'm trying to do with this fuel prompting methodology is make it tool independent and prompt independent. So pop the slide back up again if I'm still sharing my screen. Am I? Yeah. So the third one is iterate. So it's the back and forth. It gives you an answer. And then at some point, you're going to get it to a point that it's good enough. And the fourth phase of the fuel prompting methodology is launch. And again, this may or may not involve AI. It likely doesn't. Launch is like you taking the output and going, okay, now where do I want this to live? Is this going to go into a Word document? Am I going to use Grammarly to go, fix up the grammar? Am I going to read through it again and fix any little noogly things? You're going to polish the output because this is something you're going to put in the world with your name on it. And back to the consulting question earlier with subject matter experts. Those subject matter experts, even if they're using AI, they need to be trusted. And so what they put back in front of a client shouldn't just be whatever gets vomited out of an AI session. They should actually look at it, package it, put it together, refine it, things like that. You might use AI to help you do that, maybe add some images, things like that. But you might also just use your brain and a pencil. That works too. So anyway, so that's the new methodology. So frame your intent, use your voice when you're doing your prompting, iterate, edit, refine it, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then once you get something usable, then polish it before you share it with the world. All right? Should I learn Python for AI? It depends, Carl. If you want to be, it probably doesn't hurt you to know it. I don't think you necessarily need to learn it to execute it. If you want to work behind the scenes in AI, if you want to work on the IT side and the implementation side and the operations side, probably not a bad idea to know it. But what I would say is you damn well better be good at vibe coding, right? Using Cursor or Replit, Agent, or depending on where you are in the tech stack, maybe Lovable if you're closer to the front end. You should understand software development and you should understand the process. I think learning Python's not a bad thing, but I think learning to program with vibe coding tools and being nimble with that, I think is going to serve you better. YouTube question. Do you tend to start at 30,000 foot level and refine, or break such a project into smaller chunks and work on them individually? That's a great question. I tend to, personally, if I'm not using AI, I am very much a start with the 3 acts and then break the act into scenes, and then break the scenes into beats, and then break the beats into moments. I am very much, I start at 50,000 feet and come down. AI is weird. One of the most successful things I did was I took an incomplete outline where I had written most of Act 1 in the outline, most of the bullets of Act 1 in the outline, and just a handful of bullets of Act 2 and Act 3. This was for a screenplay. And then I had gotten excited, and I wrote like the first 6 or 7 scenes of Act 1. So I had these 2 documents. I had this incomplete 30,000 foot view, and then I had some scenes that like down at tactical level, right? I put both of those into Chat GPT and into, it was 4.0. I don't know when it was. This was probably November of last year. And I told it to, oh wait, this was 01. This is right when 01 came out. This was the reasoning model. I had it, I said, I want you to complete the outline first. So I uploaded both. Here's my scenes. Here's my incomplete outline. And I said, finish the outline. And one of the things it recognized was that I had started the outline in a particular, it was called, it was from the software company called Mariner. And it was, oh shit, what was it called? It began with a C. Anyway, it was a particular kind of outlining software, and it recognized it, and it finished the outline in the structure of that proprietary thing. It was called Contour, I think. So that was really impressive. So it finished the outline, and then I said, take the most dramatic scene that you created new in the outline, and based on the script that I gave you, write that scene. And so it picked this pivotal turning point scene toward the end of Act 2, and it added characters, and it maintained characters from the ones I had written, and it was good. It wrote like an 8-page scene. So I kind of feel like with AI, one of the things we talk about in the AI Salon is you should play first. One of the things AI is really good at is just throw shit at it. Just throw shit at it. Just throw shit at it. See what it does. It will likely surprise you how good it is. TikTok question. Lol, he's an actor. I do have a degree in acting. Anyway, so that's the fuel prompting methodology, right? Frame your intent, use your voice, iterate, the edit phase, and then launch it. Give it a polish. So anyway, hope you have fun tonight. Oh, let's go look at, we've got one more thing to look at. Let's go back to Genspark and see how it did. So this was, we did this with Chat GPT. And this is the SME AI Transformation Workshop, a strategic one-day workshop for subject matter experts. Okay. Agenda is more nicely formatted. One of the things I notice about Genspark is it's just more nicely presented. This looks better. A window for SME transformation is closing rapidly as AI adoption accelerates. 70% of knowledge work activities potentially automatable. 30% of SME digital transformations succeed. AI adoption has leapt from 33% to 72%. That 72% was in the OpenAI one. Generative AI can automate 60 to 70% of knowledge work. That's a good slide. It was from McKinsey. 5 core insights, exploring the changing SME landscape. Rote knowledge automation, what's at stake? So Genspark, you'll notice here, it took the 5 ideas that I gave it, it incorporated them into this, which Chat GPT didn't. Tacit knowledge, the last human frontier. I don't know what's supposed to be there. Oh, I guess these are not done. Maybe it crapped out. There's 15 slides, though. What happened to those slides? Oh, they're in here. Okay. It just the display didn't show. Interactive AI aptitude self-assessment. Where are you in curiosity and learning, adaptability and new tools, system thinking, comfort with ambiguity? Really good. Build your 6-month transformation template. Yeah, I would say Genspark did better. Now, it didn't do perfect because it didn't it says 5 core insights. Insight 1, insight 2, and then it moves on to the aptitude test. So it missed insights 3, 4, and 5. So again, not perfect. Again, and listen, this is in that fuel framework. This is the edit phase, right? It gave us a really good start here. It's missing 3 slides, right? So you got to go in and tell it, hey, you fucked this up. You're missing 3 slides. Anyway, all right, I'm getting out of here. So tomorrow at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Wait, is it 4 p.m. or is it 3 p.m.? It's 4 p.m. Yes, 4. 6 p.m. Eastern. We've got the AI Readiness Project podcast with Ann Murphy and myself. We have a really good guest who's a TikTok AI influencer. I'm really excited about it. So you can check that out at aireadinessproject.com. And you can see where we stream. We stream on YouTube and a bunch of places. Our podcast is now also available, the AI Readiness Project, on Apple Podcast and Amazon and Spotify and wherever you find those things. So go check that stuff out. And yeah, I'm going to get on out of here. Hope you have fun tonight. Hope you people have fun tonight. Final thoughts? Questions? Yeah, come back tomorrow. We'll see how many new versions of Chat GPT are available. Here's my thought is you should keep coming back here at least for the next 2 weeks. I'm just going to keep playing with Chat GPT and trying to figure out what it's good at. Like the agent experiment we did tonight, it's kind of shitty at slides. We know that now. All right. But let's go find out. Maybe there's things it's good at. It looks tonight like it got a lot better than it was for the past 3 days. Why? I don't know. We're back to having 8 models, though. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. Oh, man. All right. All right. I know you aren't into open stuff, but Olama Turbo is pretty cool. Ilang Ma, it's not that I'm not into open source stuff. It's that I don't have the bandwidth to, or the hardware, frankly, to install it all. And just, yeah, I'm just, at this point, I'm a prepackaged guy. I'm in the prepared food section of the grocery store, not the raw ingredients where the chefs shop. But the open source stuff's getting really, really amazing. All right. It makes fake case law and would not correct it. Yes, it will hallucinate. Now, GPT-5 should be better at hallucinations than GPT-4 would. But yeah, this is the thing. AI at this point is not good enough to be left to its own devices. You have to be there. That's the whole reason I put that fuel framework together. That third section, edit and iterate, that's really important. If you're trying to do legal cases, you're going to have to check all of what it produces because it will fucking hallucinate. And it, to your point, you tell it to fix it, it'll go, oh, you're absolutely right. I did that wrong. And then it'll do it wrong again. It's maddening. But yeah, that's just the state of the art right now. That's where we are. All right. Hope everyone has a good night. And I will see you. Come to the AI Readiness Project tomorrow at 4 p.m. Mountain, AIReadinessProject.com. And I will see you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Same bat time, same bat place, same shitty home office. Peace.